Finally, it is time for RSL Tier 1, Round 1, Season 4. Technically Season 1 of the new name, but it's Season 4 in the league altogether. And 20 minutes passed when we were supposed to start because SLR Quattro got the wrong bus and ended up in Lisbon. But finally he is here, and we can finally get going as we get the tyres out, and we'll just wait. It looks like there's movement down the Ferrari pit lane. Pigster is one of them, but it's an Aston Martin out first, and my money is it's on SJR. You can see him come out of the pit lane, the first person to cross the pit exit to head to the start of season 4. SJR, as we were watching previously, hoping to get close to pole position today. Obviously he'll be battling alongside SLR Quattro as long as he doesn't drive off again like he did as we tried to get into the lobby, but he's in now, and he was probably one of the quickest last time he raced, but we'll see now what happens. Ryan Kern, full grid. Yeah, it took about 25 minutes to get there, but we did get there eventually, and hopefully I can do some relaxing 5-lappers with yourselves afterwards. But at the moment it's all about RSL in Portugal and SJR going through the roller coaster that is the Algarve International Street Circuit. We'll see now what he can do. We'll ride on board through the first lap of RSL's history, as his hot lap ERS has been deployed, probably right about now, and he is underway. So the long run down to the first corner, he'll be staying in 8th obviously along the straight, and drops down more than likely to 5th gear. He's tried to keep it in 6th, and he has done fairly good job in that. Drops it down to 2nd and quickly upshifts to 3rd as you go up this really tough left-hander where people have struggled in the past, but SJR has mastered it very, very well. Obviously setting the first sector, the fastest first sector. Owen Curry is behind him. We don't know what he has set so far, because at the moment we're concentrating on the Aston Martin going through another infamous really difficult part of this track, a part where you can lose the car so easily, but he's done very, very well. And now through the roller coaster section on the road all the way up to turn 10, 11, he's just manoeuvred it really well, and the new Aston Martin driver is flying it now. Turn 13, the last difficult braking zone of the track. The rest is kind of just a smooth kind of flow all the way till the end, and he might get a bit of a slipstream here off. I think that's Vax ahead of him as he heads now down towards the line. SJR, what is the first time going to be? A 1:17.6. That is an interesting lap indeed. Kofi behind, what time can he set? Can't go as quick, but not too far behind. Pigster next. He is a good bit further behind. Behind them it is a Patish Hund with a very decent lap, and Owen Curry goes just right behind his teammate. Skifan next to the line he goes. He's a good bit off the pace, but followed by JRR, who's probably going to be one of the quickest here. SLR Quattro still a good bit behind. Jackie Gabbana just back as we watch Pigster have a bit of a spin up on turn 4. Jackie Gabbana, Tier 2 driver, Tier 2 champion last year. He's up into Tier 1 now, and his time so far could definitely be improved. As we're watching at the top, Lucas Paul, a player I'd love to see at the top, back in the Ferrari, and he is back at the top with a 1:17.9. He's up in the P4, but we'll see now, because I think that is Douglas coming to the end of his lap, only P7 for him. XT Harrison has invalidated, so we'll watch Vax come through his final few turns now, and we'll see what the Mercedes could do. At the moment he seems to be struggling just a little bit, but when he gets to the line, that's when it all really matters. And up the final hill now, Vax is gonna go P10, a solid lap indeed. Vaxi, another driver only to not set a lap here, along with the 2 Hasses, who must have had a bit of trouble on this first run in qualifying, as almost every driver is out other than 3 out on the track, and Vaxi is the only one I'm aware of that is on a hot lap. And hopefully, I think that Skifan getting out of the way, as we'll see now as he comes to the end of his sector 2. what kind of time he sets. He's down to sector 3. What is this going to be? Is it going to be very similar to his teammate? It looks like it will be, because it was around this stage where Vax set his 1:18.3 time. He was around this time going through it, and we'll see now as Vaxi heads to the line, and it's only P14. Harrison has invalidated again. He seems to be struggling. Obviously tier 2 last year, supposed to be tier 1. He had to drop down, but he's been brought back up, and at the moment it's not going to plan. We'll ride on board with Jinx, who has almost a free track to himself as everyone crowds back into the pit lane for the first time of this session, and we'll see what Jinx can do now when he gets to start his lap. We'll have a quick look and see if there's any predictions for what will happen. Oh, Ryan Kern, I'll tell you the calendar now. I'll just get it up here. It should be on my phone. So the calendar for this season: we start in Portimao this week and head to Singapore next week. Then we head to Abu Dhabi, and in tier 1 then we head to Monaco, but it's France for tier 2, and then we head to Zandvoort on the 19th of December before our Christmas break. After that we come back on the 9th of January after a 2-week break. We head to Mexico. After that then it's Silverstone, then Imola, Montreal, and we finish the season in Saudi Arabia. So only 10, but we'll see what happens. Any predictions, put them in the chat now while I can read them as we ride on board with Jinx setting his hot lap, and is a 22.3. is not a bad first sector indeed, as he now heads through probably the most trickiest second sectors on the whole calendar, especially this turn here. What can Jinx approach? He's been struggling with it all week and gets all out of shape going through it, and that's not going to help his lap whatsoever. He continues on anyway though, and he wants to get a time on the board, but that won't help it being a competitive time. But he's managed to keep it valid, and he's just doing well to get his way through the twisty section here, now into the final sector. Just needs to maneuver this final turn here, and this turn 14, Sagres, and then into turn 15 of Galp. And he doesn't want to invalidate. He uses all the track limits there are, and Jinx in the end only P15. So Darkness Alorax, another one on a lap, and hopefully he doesn't get held up in much traffic, because the only driver ahead is an Alpine, who seems to have pulled out of the way already for the Haas, who didn't get much of a run last season, but he's reserving for Marley at the moment, and who couldn't make today's race. But he's reserving for him at the moment, and we can see now what his pace is about, if he can be a bit more consistent now in the midweek races, as he heads through this tricky turn 8, and then now down into the roller coaster section of Craig Jones, and then into the infamous Portimao turn 10, 11 corner. Now down the other kind of roller coaster downhill section into turn 13 now. Unlucky for some, not unlucky for Darkness at the moment, as he heads now through Sagles and now onto just fully flat as they head then through Galp. What kind of time can Darkness Alorax set? To the line he goes. The Haas man will put his car P16, so not great at all indeed. So we'll have a look behind and we'll see. There's another Haas coming, unless that's Jinx gone straight for another lap. It doesn't seem to be. SJR is on a lap. Is he improving? That's the question. I don't think he is on a lap actually. Never mind. Jackie Gabbana is. Is Jackie Gabbana improving? No, he is not. He's just a bit slower. Lucas Paul is, I think, only starting a lap here. Yeah. I can't quite see who's at the line. One of the McLarens are Owen Curry. He's a 10th up, and just ever so slightly goes ahead of Kofi, and so close to getting ahead of SJR. But Kofi, is he up on his time? No, he isn't. RX Paolo goes a little bit quicker, and behind them Apatish Hund couldn't go quicker. Same with Hayden. And then followed by Turkey Boy, who's also going slower. So things aren't going better for these guys at the moment. Quattro, things may be going better as he's heading now through the final few corners now. SLR Quattro. It's the fastest time from the AlphaTauri driver. What a lap. Just a little bit quicker than SJR. Couldn't improve, which means it could be interesting towards the end, but that's an astonishing lap from the AlphaTauri driver. Next across the line, Douglas. I think that's only for an out lap though. Yeah, he's only starting his lap now. Jackie Gabbana is into the pit lane. Behind them, Pigster's had a bit of a spin there, but I think Lucas Paul is invalidated. And then I think the Killer, who's reserving also today, is not having a great time. The tier 2 reserve is at the moment just struggling a little bit more than he would have liked to be. XD Harrison is still out, and I want to see is he on a lap. It looks like he is. We'll see now as he straightens the car up, but he brings it into the pit lane. So he doesn't want to set a lap so far. Just wants to get in and get back out for an even stronger one. And I think that's Ski Fan coming to the line, who's invalidated, and then Hayden, who already came to the line. SLR Quattro, who's obviously already set his fastest lap. And Pigster, I think, who had the spin. That means that he will also be dashing into the pit lane. Caden, Jinx, coming around the final corner now. And he is starting a lap. Behind him is Douglas, and we're right on board with Caden because why not? Douglas is into P4. I think that's him now starting his cool down lap. Yeah, that is. So we'll watch Jinx. He seems to be the only driver on a hot lap at the moment. And we know his pace can be really quick up at the top. We've seen it before. And all you really need to do is get into the 117s and you'll be up in that top 7. And we'll see how the front runners do improve. But at the moment, things aren't going too well for the lads down in the low 118s because they're just right here at the back. But we'll see now as Jinx goes through now the tricky roller coaster section. It seems to be snatching a bit, but not as bad as it was previously when we looked at it. Going through that turn 8, the Samsung corner, and now through turn 13. Here's pretty much the end of the lap now. It's a very, very short lap. The more you think about it, it's actually not a very long lap here around Portimao. And as Jinx heads to the line, we'll see has he improved or not. DRS on, and Jinx goes into the top 10. So SJR will ride on board with him, starting his final lap of qualifying. So just fixing the laptop there. We'll keep on board with SJR as he heads now through Sector 2. I don't know how much he's up in his time. Is he up enough to maybe get Paul back off SLR Quattro? As he heads now down through the tricky downhill section, he is just under 1.5 tenths up. And we'll see now when SJR does come to the line whether or not he can just take Paul off SLR Quattro for now. Now here he goes. Heads round the final corner of Galp. What kind of time can he set? It's SLR, it's SJR. It is back onto the front row, but can Pigster maybe get something? No, he's only starting a lap. Jackie Gabbana's in, along with, I think that's Jinx. TTV Baxi, 5 tenths up. This could be enough possibly to put him up into the top 10. We'll see now as he heads through Sagres and then through Galp. What kind of time can Vaxi set as we watch down through the downhill section onto the long straight now. Up he goes, up the hill. Vaxi P9, not a bad lap at all from the Mercedes driver. Behind them, XD Harrison still yet to set a lap, but he's going to be burning the RS now because that's him starting a lap. Darkness Alorex still hasn't really set a very competitive lap time, but he's on a competitive lap at the moment now, and as he's heading through Sagres, we can see whether or not he can push himself a little bit further than just P17. So the final lap of qualifying for the Haas of Darkness Alorex, and it will be P13, 5/10 improvement, not bad at all. The Killer also seems to be only starting a lap there. Turkey Boy, or is that SJR? SJR, I think, is coming into the pit lane, more than likely. Yep, that's the end of him. So we'll ride on board. I think JRR is about to come to the line, and he is definitely going for a competitive lap. No, he's not. Jeez, he's really throwing me off guard. Pigster's on the lap. No, he's not. He's 18 seconds down. Must have had a bit of a spin. Vaxis only starting a lap. I think SLR Quattro is on an out lap. Right on board with, I think, Harrison coming to the line, and his only lap time is going to put him ahead of Darkness Alorex into P13. Not a bad lap from the Williams driver. Hayden starting a lap, and that's Harrison who's retired then. He's clicked the retire from session immediately, which isn't the best idea now, because here's Hayden now through this part of the track, and if this car doesn't get out of the way in time, it seems like it is, but that could have been a bit more trouble than it actually was. And then everyone is starting their laps now. So Hayden is going to be the first driver to complete his lap. Harrison's car finally does disappear, but qualifying is now over for SJR, and as Douglas, we'll see if he can make the line. I'd say he just about will, but I think that's JRR if he can make the line, and Hayden, followed by them I think is then Turkey Boy on a lap. We'll find out now, because Hayden is on a competitive lap, and there's yellow flags almost every second sector that I see, and I think JRR is the one ahead, and he is not going for another lap time. That's his qualifying over. Hayden, can he improve on his lap time? Yes, he can. A great lap from the AlphaTauri puts him P6. Not bad at all. Turkey Boy, his first full season in RSL as Pigster retires into turn 3, it was. Has gone off there. We can ignore that for now because he won't get involved in any other traffic. Here's Turkey Boy. Here's his final lap, and he is going to put his car P10. Not bad at all. Kofi, 4/10 up. This could be pole position for the McLaren. It is pole position for now, because I think that's SLR Quattro behind. He hasn't improved enough. Oven Curry May, he's slightly up right now, and he's enough to take P3 off Quattro and make it a 1-3 for McLaren as Lucas Paul goes P5, and I think that's Jackie Gabbana. He's going to start last. Jinx goes up into the top 9, and then Apatish Hund and Skifan. Apatish Hund first, he goes P10. Skifan, his first full season, he's only P15, and then Douglas to finish us off goes P2. What a lap from the Red Bull there to put himself onto the front row and shocks everyone. No one's seen that coming from where his first lap was. Kofi, one of the best laps this season, onto P1, and Douglas will line up on the front row. SJR maybe setting his lap just a bit too early, but it's Douglas it's Kofi who is the star qualifying here. Douglas in P2, Oven Curry in P4, and SLR Quattro missing out the most at the end there, unfortunately, in P5. So as we wait then for Hayden, his car to go into the pits, that is the end of qualifying. Alright, let's run through qualifying then. So, Kofi starts from pole position in the McLaren, Douglas in P2, SJR P3, Oven Curry P4, SLR P5, Lucas Paul happily back into the top 6 and possibly battling for a podium tonight in P6. Hayden P7, really good lap there from the Tier 2 driver. Eric Paolo P8, Jinx P9 and the Patachon P10. Vaxi 11th, Turkey Boy 12th, JR 13th, Vax 14th, Skifan 15th, Harrison 16th, Darkness 17th, T-Killer, Pigster and Jackie Gabbana 18th, 19th and 20th. We'll see now as we go to the actual race what can happen here. So Kofi with the first pole position of season 4. What an excellent race. We have waiting for us as we just load in now. I don't think there was any grid penalties that popped up in the top of the screen, so I think we're all clean now to go for the race. Traffic paradise is one of the comments I see in the YouTube channel. It was for some drivers, I hear, but it seems like Kofi and Douglas have made the most of it. That is our front row. I think neither of them have been on the front row before, and they start on it today. Obviously the big miss today is Randro 17. Couldn't make today's race, unfortunately. We'll be able to make more as we head into the Christmas time period of the league, but Randro is unable to make today's race, but he will be ready to race as of next week, I'm sure. Then the two Alpine reserves in D Killer and JRR replacing Adgedox and Randro. Very, very hard pair to replace, and I really hope that we don't have to restart here. I think we are going to have another fucking restart. Alright, so guys, there'll be a new stream again. I'm sorry about that because the game is just fucking us up today. And I'll see you in about 2 minutes.